My name is Rickey. I'm a military brat, so I've been all over. I was born in Washington, D.C., graduated out of Leavenworth, Lansing, Kansas, but consider my hometown East St. Louis, Illinois. I went to Kansas State University and also went and got my master's at Friends University. So where I'm from is kind of complicated. Where I'm from is the nation. I'm from the environment. I'm from the culture that we live in. You can't specify a location necessarily because for me I encompass a lot of different experiences growing up internationally, living in Berlin for a few years, growing up and being born in Washington, D.C., having family and living and going back frequently to East St. Louis, Illinois, and living in Lansing, Leavenworth, Kansas as well. There's a lot of different experiences that I have that I've encompassed to make me who I am today. That helped me become focused, especially as a single child. When I have conflicts in the streets, or if I have conflicts in the class, I don't have a sibling to go back and tell. I might have some boys, but then when it gets a serious conflict, how much do your boys have it back at the same time? I'm not saying that my boys weren't there, but it just created an independent mindset for me to have to handle my own situations in my own regard. So there was a lot of trials and errors. There's a lot of me trying to be the toughest. There's a lot of me trying to be the most loud mouth. There's a lot of me trying to be the most defiant at times. And there's a lot of me that was doing things on the sneaky side. Kind of like a Frank Lucas. You try to look one way in public, but behind the scenes you're doing some dirt. And that's how I wanted to be. I wanted to be the good guy, but at the same time, I had a street mentality that I wanted to do things that would make me look like, the bad one as well. So there was a conflict of interest there. That didn't change until one day after a fight. It was a Saturday morning, and I looked at my knuckles, and I remember my knuckles were swollen, and I asked myself, how long are you going to continue to let yourself be bruised and not heal properly? How long are you going to let your knuckles be swollen continuously? So at that moment in time, I realized that I needed to make a life change. And so I started trying to associate myself with the right people. My story why I went to college is kind of simple. My first primary choice was to get girls. I was following females, and the girls I was trying to pursue in high school, wherever they were trying to go, I was filling out an application. I really thought, and I relied on my basketball and my track skills to get me an athletic scholarship to a university. And I didn't really pursue the academic side of it. I didn't do the best on my ACTs. I had to take it 4 times just to get a 19. Ranging from an 11 to a 15 to a 17 on my ACTs. And so it wasn't that I wasn't smart, it was just that I was out trying to hang out with the fellas and be one of the boys. It wasn't cool to be smart at the time I was growing up in high school, so I kind of dumbfounded myself to be a little bit more socially accepted from my friends and get the notoriety that I wanted to get. So after I pursued high school, I went to college, and coming into college as a minority, there's a lot of different cultural contexts. I remember very vividly one time I approached a white female, and I was trying to give her a compliment by saying that she was thick. That didn't go well. I learned right then that thick in our culture might not be, it is a good compliment, but in other cultures that's kind of a negative mark to say. And so I learned the difference in interacting with other cultures that way. And about 2 weeks into going to college, I had a lady point blank tell me that I didn't belong there and I wouldn't be successful. One thing about myself though is I'm naturally hard-headed, and so that became a certified guarantee that I was going to graduate. Going into college, being the only child growing up in life, biologically, I always longed to have brothers or sisters, so college was the first time I saw other positive minority males and females who had dreams and aspirations and were academically intelligent enough to pursue it and would not dumb me down for their peers. And so that kind of put a demand on me to really shine and show what I had intellectually. So my first semester I actually pulled out a 3.6 GPA. So I was never dumb. It was just the ability to apply myself. A big turning point for me at K-State was when I joined Alpha Phi Alpha. That helped me because I had other positive males who were business-minded, who were forward-thinking, who held themselves in high regard. And so that placed an internal demand for me, number one, to do well academically, but also to make sure I can give back to the community and also maintain a standard of excellence on the campus. So with that really just helped me grow, and then that was also a brotherhood where I had other males that I can associate with, and did we do some things that as college students would do? Yeah, but we also made sure that we were business-minded and focused on our academics as well. So that determination helped me graduate on time and come with a lot of business mindset that I have today. I realized that as a minority male, me graduating is not just for myself, but it's for the overall demographic that I represent. And I'm defying statistics nationally as I matriculate through college. As well, I learned how to value myself as a minority, because too many times we don't feel the courage enough to stand up against the crowd because we might be the only one in the class, we might be the only one in the dorm room, we might be the only one on the floor. And if 16 other people live with you and they feel like they can say something about your culture and make a funny joke about someone who represents your culture in mainstream media that did something wrong or whatever you may have it, you still have to be able to stand up on your own accord. So that first year of college really taught me the importance of being independent in my thought and my rhetoric and my character and how I carry myself no matter where I'm at, which has kind of given me the courageousness to pursue what I need to pursue amongst all obstacles. And that kind of blended into an opportunity to where the president of the university, John Weefall, knew me by name, but it was in a positive moment. I started having counterparts who were of a different demographic than me start to see greatness in me, start to speak greatness into me. And so once I realized that my being my true self and finding my true identity was being rich and impactful in other people who are from a different demographic to want to pursue and obtain greatness in themselves, that's when I knew that I had something going forward as I pursued my master's. That helped me become a person who, I worked 3 jobs and I had a brand new baby girl 2 months into my master's, but I literally worked 3 jobs almost 6 days a week from 3:45 in the morning to midnight every day. And I graduated with a 4.0 because I had determination, I had a purpose, I had a vision for my life, and I knew that not only was my education critical for myself, but it's critical for the advancement of my family. It's critical for the expectation of my daughter and my kids to come. And it was critical for my family to see a male not only graduate and get his bachelor's, but to go through and get his master's and now attempting to finish a PhD. And because of my situation, I can sit here and tell you today, I am a first-round draft pick.